At the beginning of our careers, most of us were given the same script. Go to school, study hard, get a degree, get a trade, or get a diploma, and everything will be fine. That's the story of our lives. And some people ignored this script and paid a heavy price. Others followed it and succeeded greatly. Unfortunately, many people have followed this script faithfully and still found their lives unchanged. And I think there's a story of many people in our country, South Africa, the continent of Africa, and many other parts of the world. Hi everyone, my name is Sandile Mtimkulu, aka the Doctor of Soil. The other day I had a conversation with a young man who was deeply frustrated by the fact that he had spent a lot of time working on getting a qualification, and not just one qualification. He had acquired 2 qualifications, and his most recent qualification was NQF level 7, but he was not employed. He had tried to get a job, but it wasn't happening. And it was a sad story, I must say. I didn't like the fact that he was not employed, and I was trying to help him to get employment as well, but it wasn't happening at the time. And in this conversation we had with him, I asked a couple of questions that got him agitated. Probably I was insensitive by asking those questions. I don't know if I was. But the idea was I was trying to help him to see the other side that I thought he could not see. And the question I asked was, if you say you have a qualification, what does that mean? He said to me, it means I have knowledge and skills that can be beneficial to whoever that decides to give me employment. And I said to him, if you know that you have skills and you have knowledge, why then are you not using the knowledge and the skills that you already have to make your life better? That sounded like an insult to him, and it sounded very insensitive, and I apologized later because I thought maybe I had been insensitive. But the idea was that I was trying to help him. And the reason I asked the question was because I thought if he manages to see the other side, he will take matters into his hand and begin to work in trying to change his life. Because when you are saying you are educated, I think it is very important for you to sit down and ask yourself, what does that mean? When you say you are educated, what does that mean to you? You are educated. If it means you have knowledge and you have skills, and then why are you waiting for someone to give you permission to use the skills that you have? Why are you waiting for someone to give you permission to use the knowledge that you have? Because you already have knowledge and you already have skills. Why do you wait for someone to invest in you instead of continuing to invest in yourself? Because you've already started investing anyway. Like getting a qualification, that's an investment that you already have made in your life. So the question is, why don't you continue to invest in yourself? Because in our days, I think it's a lot easier to acquire knowledge or to further your studies, or let me not say your studies, but because we start thinking about going to the university and all of that. But to increase or improve your knowledge, it's so easy in our days because you can even enroll in a course for free online until you complete the course without paying even 1 rand or 1 cent. And when you're done with that course, you can use that skill to help someone. And helping that person will give you the experience that is needed for you to continue to build your career. So the question is, if you are educated and you have spent some time thinking about what is an educated person, I think there is no way you can sit down and do nothing with your life. I understand you need a job, and that's good that you're looking for a job. It's good that you're searching for a job, and it's not nice that you don't have a job. It's not nice, it's not good. We all want to have jobs. I also love to have a job. All I'm trying to say is, while you are waiting for that job, there is something you can do to give yourself the experience that the job requires. Because most of the time when you're looking for a job, the employers are gonna tell you that you need to have an experience. So now, if you don't have that experience, it becomes difficult for you to even get that employment. So why don't you give yourself that experience? Just by acquiring the skill. Like, I'm talking about the skill. I'm talking about the skill that can be applied directly in the marketplace. A skill that can help you make money. A skill that can help someone make money. That's a skill I'm talking about. I think we don't spend enough time thinking about this word education and what it means to be educated. Let me give you a definition of an educated person. An educated person, according to Napoleon Hill, is someone who has so developed the faculties of his mind that he is able to acquire anything he wants or its equivalent without violating the rights of other people. That is an educated person. He knows how to get what he wants. That's what it means to be educated. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have a specialized knowledge. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have such and such qualification. No. It means you are able to get what you want without stepping on the toes of other people. That's all. That's what education is. That's what an educated person is. So the next time you call yourself an educated person, ask yourself this question: am I able to get what I want? If you do not know how to get what you want, chances are you're not yet educated. I'm sorry to say that. It is important, I think, for us to think about this, because I think it will make us begin to move in a different way, because we will understand what it means to be educated. Because I think when we say we're educating ourselves, we just jump into this process without actually thinking long and hard about it to say, what am I getting myself into? Because it's not automatic that if you register in a particular university and you acquire a qualification, your life is going to change. It's not automatic. And you have seen a lot of people graduating and still remaining where they were before they even acquired that qualification. For 5 years, for 10 years, for 15 years. So you don't want to have your life looking like that after working so hard, after suffering for such a long time, acquiring that qualification. And that begins by looking at this word, education, and the phrase, educated person. You are educated. If it happens that you think you are educated, but you're still unable to get what you want, one of the things that I would do in your position is to say, what are the skills that I have that I can build on. The skills I have that are not yet giving me what I'm looking for. So for me to get the skill that is going to help me get what I'm looking for, what is it that I can use? Something that is readily available in my life. I'll give you an idea. You already know how to count. You already know how to read. You already know how to write. The question is, how can I use my ability to write, my ability to read, and my ability to count to get the thing that I'm looking for, or to get the skill that will help me become the person that I want to be? And that it's only you that knows the kind of a human being that you want to be and the life that you want to live. So how can these three, those are the basic skills that you can use to acquire other skills that maybe your education didn't give to you. And a lot of people would even, I remember I saw someone on social media who once criticized the quote, who was criticizing the quote by Nelson Mandela, who said education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. And people were saying that is not true. And I think actually it is true that education can change the world, but the question is, which education are we talking about? Because if we think about education, if the only thing that comes to mind when we think of education is certificates and graduations and all of that, then that education might not change the world. But when you talk about education, the one I spoke about when I was defining an educated man as per the definition coined by Napoleon Hill, then that education can change the world, because it can begin by changing your world. And then after changing your world, then it begins to change the world of other people around you. So let's relook at the word education and look at what we mean when we say we are educated. I know this is a tough conversation. It's a tough thing to do, but unfortunately it's something that needs to happen for our lives to change. And I think when we begin to do that, there's a lot of things that will change in our lives, and especially if you already have a qualification, maybe the first qualification, second qualification, or anything like that, and you want to improve your education, or you want to further your studies, go into an honors degree, a master's, or a PhD, or anything like that. I've seen a lot of people saying, you know what, the diploma I have is not good enough, so I'm going to get an honors degree. And you ask the question, why are you getting an honors degree, and why are you getting an advanced diploma degree? I mean, why are you getting an advanced diploma? And someone will say, you know what, because it improves the chances of getting employment. Maybe that is true, but what if it doesn't give you that? What are you going to do? The question, and other people, they decide, I'm going to go and do honors degree. Hopefully that is going to improve my chances. The question is, why are you doing that honors degree? Which honors degree are you going to do, and why are you doing it? Which skill are you looking for? Because if I'm not against I'm not against furthering your studies. I'm not against that. I'm actually for that. I'm one of those people who like to study. I love studying, right? I'm almost always registered somewhere. You know, if I'm not registered with a particular university, maybe I've enrolled online, but I'm always doing something that has to do with education. But I think the most important thing for us is to sit down and think about the qualification that we are about to enroll in. Question, what knowledge are you looking for? Where are you going to use it? And how are you planning to use it? Who wants that knowledge? If it's a skill, what skill are you looking for in that qualification you are about to enroll in? Who wants that skill? How are you going to use that skill? And this helps because If you know how you want to use that skill, you begin to use that skill before you even complete that qualification. But if you do not know how to use that skill and where you're going to use that skill, you will not even start using that skill. Probably you might never even use it, because all you wanted was a qualification so that you increase the chances of getting employment. I'm not saying there's something wrong with that, but if that's the approach you think will work for you, will help you get to where you want to go, fine. But do not get disappointed if employment doesn't come, even when you have already acquired that qualification, because it doesn't guarantee anything. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Albert Einstein once said, education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. There is a way your mind should think when you have acquired another qualification. You can't think the same way you thought before acquiring that qualification if you have been educated. But if you just acquire another qualification without allowing your mind to change in terms of the way you think, you must know that you have not been educated. You just acquired another qualification, and that might not work for you in the marketplace. Because when the way you think changes, especially for the better, you become creative. I think education should help you to become creative. It should help you to communicate better. It should help you to adapt in different situations, in different contexts. I think education, if it's the right education, it should help you to adapt in different contexts. If the qualification didn't give you that, it's something that you can learn on your own to adapt in different contexts. Education should give you problem-solving skills. If your degree didn't give you that, you can go online, get short courses on problem solving that can help you. So we cannot sit and complain about the education system and say the education system is not helping us. You can enroll in a short course designed in another country, and you do it for free in one of the best universities in the world. That can be done in our days. Malcolm X once said, education is the passport to the future. But tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Thank you very much. If you liked what we shared here today, please like the video, share it with someone that you think might benefit from it, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet subscribed, so that you can be the first one to see the next video that we're going to be sharing in the near future, and get blessed by it, hopefully.